Alright guys, so I hope you're doing fine as always. In today's video, we will be discussing this losing trade that I took on ING. I suggest we first look at the setup itself, as I did record my chart live when looking for this setup, and afterwards we can go have a quick look in hindsight, how this turned out, if something went wrong, if this was a good setup or not. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Alright, so now for the TA part of the video. I'm here on the ING on the 1 hour time frame. I was looking at the time frames, not really any vectors close by on the 1 hour time frame. We are sitting at this 50 EMA zone. It seems to be consolidating here for a bit, so judging back from the 1 hours, I'm already feeling like I want to look for a long position. As we could see, the 50 EMA and the 50 EMA cloud here are kind of acting as support. It's holding on here. The vectors to the downside are quite far away, so I'm looking for a long, or I have the insensitive to look for a long position, depending on what the other time frames say, of course, but I'm already in a long bias. So looking to the smaller time frames, first just having a quick overview. On the 5 minute, we can really see it's highly manipulated in this last, let's say, 2 hours or 1 hour-ish. Like you can see red vector blue, red, blue, blue, etc. We do have a lot of red ones left to the top side, only strengthening my long bias. On the 50-minute time frame, what was standing out here was this blue vector candle. As you can really see, if we zoom out a little bit more, this was really the only vector that was unrecovered. Only one left unrecovered in brackets the near future, or in the nearby zones. To the top side, we have this nice red one here on the 15-minute time frames, which is closer by. So already with the long bias, this was looking really great. Same thing on the 5-minute time frame. So with the long bias of the bigger time frames, with the long bias on the smaller time frames, I wanted to look for a long scalping position with my TP within this 15-minute and 5-minute vector candle zone. So I did set my TP there. Entry-wise, we really didn't have any great entries, I would say, or entry zones. So we just play around with it a bit. I'm considering having my entry here below these wicks, which I will also go for, as this is really the only zone that's standing out. Okay, maybe this wick, but as this was highly manipulated, I just wanted these wicks to be taken to make the move up. So that made perfectly sense for me to have an entry at these wicks, at least for a scalping position. TP, like I said before, in the vector candle zone. Stop loss, I just wanted to have below the 800 EMA here and below the wicks and in a 3R setup. Like you probably know from the Discord or previous videos, I'm a really big fan of 3R setups. And that was pretty much the thought process behind this trade. So just a quick scalping setup made good sense to me. Just sweeping liquidity, recovering vector candles. But like you saw in the intro, we did get stopped out. A good thing to keep in mind for the outro is this blue zone right here, which was, if we go back down, this vector candle recovery. So on the 15-minute time frames, let's see if we have a nice zoom out. This zone right here. Keep that in mind for the aftermath of this trade. So now let's have a quick look how this trade played out. Alright, so now let's have a quick look at this trade in hindsight. So, like you saw in the intro, this trade turned out to be a loss. I did get stopped out here. We can see we did get our entry, had a small bounce, but decided to go all the way back down into this blue box that we were just talking about. Let's have a quick look at the screenshot of the trade. So my entry was at 13.5340, which is a tiny bit higher than this, probably because of slippage, I guess. Exit 13.4532, 30.452, resulting into a 1 hour loss or 14.9% on 25x leverage. So I do think it's also important that you see my losses. So it's normal to lose, nothing bad with it. But now this was a loss. Does this mean this was a bad trading setup? Let's have a quick look. Or like I said in the middle part of the video, the trade looked perfectly fine. High manipulated zone here at the end. Accumulation zone, so was a good chance that we were flying back up, which they did right here. TP zone made perfectly sense. Entry made also sense because there was liquidity build-up here, which they did take, but they went for the full vector recovery, which we threw on the 15-minute time frame right here. Let's have a quick look. So this zone right there, which you can see they perfectly tapped into and bounced from there. So I would say this isn't a bad setup. Not just because it's a losing trade doesn't mean it's a bad setup. The idea was there. The risk to reward was there. So at 3R, the risk was worth it, we can say. And it just happens that we got stopped out and they reversed from there. But remember, we had this zone marked out or mapped out as well. So once that I saw I did get stopped out, I did look for a new trade setup in this zone that we charted out earlier, which resulted in this trade setup. So quick look at the screenshots. Entry 13.3170, 13.317. Exit 13.788, 13.788, resulting into an 88% trading setup on 25x leverage. Most importantly for us, it's a 5R trading setup. So because we had this mapped out already, this vector candle, we could instantly anticipate on the fact that we were heading to this zone. And you can see they perfectly tapped the zone with the red vector candle and started reversing from there. So we did make up for a loss that we took here. Nevertheless, doesn't mean this was a bad trading idea. Same odds, they start reversing from here. This case they didn't. We got stopped out, re-entered, and we won the trade. So it's still a net for our trade at the end of the day. So this is why risk management is so important. I could have just waited here and said I'm not trading with a stop loss like a lot of people do, which is really a bad mindset to have. Look at the results. For example, if I kept this trade, okay, it would have reversed eventually and I would have made this amount of profit. I won't even call it a 3R because I was not having a risk factor. I was risking my whole account. So I did, if I didn't have a stop loss, I would risk my whole account to make X% of my account, which is, with good risk management, peanuts of the account size. And compared to here, I made a nice 4R profit still, because I got stopped out in a -R, but I got a +5R. So clean risk management, clean profits, resulting into a much better result compared to that I would have had if I just kept on to this trade and hoped for the best. I think that's pretty much everything that there is to say about this trade. I hope this was insightful for you. I hope this example of a losing trade made you realize that just because it's a losing trade doesn't mean it's a bad setup if the idea is there. And an extra reminder of good risk management. So, as always, if there are any more questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section or on the Discord server, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care. See ya. Bye bye.